One of the biggest problems is that most companies don't know they get started, especially when you're big sales driven. Just because that guy tells you he can put a roof on does not mean he can put a roof on properly. If I was to start all over again at zero, don't do it by yourself. Find alignment. And when you're in your 20s and 30s, it's harder because you're more aggressive. A lot of times you're a little bit hardcore. It's harder. We have to educate people and have set those expectations. I'm signing a contract with you. You're not going to remember everything either. So we have our production team actually when we call and remind you, hey, make sure the driveway's cleared out. Delivery of shingles comes from a different time from the installs. We're going to be there Thursday afternoon to deliver shingles. Does not mean that we're installing your roof. So you just have to walk people through that.
Welcome to the Roofing Success Podcast. I'm Jim Aline, and I'm here to bring you insights from top leaders in the roofing industry to help you grow and scale your roofing business. Austin Watterson, how are you, man?
I'm doing great. How about yourself, Jim?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to have you on. We've been, we've known each other for many years now, and saw you through, ups and downs with your, with the business, with your health, with all kinds of things. It's great to finally have you on. So
yeah, I'm glad to have me on here. Yeah, I think several years ago we met through John Brose. He was Brose. He connected us.
The golden doodle of roofing is what he's calling himself now.
Self-proclaimed, yeah.
Self-proclaimed, that's right. He's a good guy. Well, Austin, you have Royal Roofing and Solar over in the Kansas City area, and have merged with Abernathy Roofing, and let's start back with this journey for you, man. How did you get into roofing, and how did it get to here for you?
Yeah, I used to be in the restaurant business before roofing. So you got to try to keep, I was director of operations over several restaurants. And when your average ticket is, $6, $7 in the fast food side, you got a lot of people to satisfy. So very customer service driven. And I became a partner there when I was 19 years old. And so it was time for me to move on, and I sold the ownership I had and searched around for what I want to do next. And I figured out that roofing looked appeasing, but I forgot I had a fear of heights. And so I found out quickly I didn't know crap about roofing. I didn't know the difference from a 3-tab shingle to an architectural shingle. And I'd actually went to work for a company, and they were a storm chaser at the time, and I learned a few things from them. Actually left and went over to another company and became really good friends with a couple of guys and learned quite a bit. But I was very customer service driven and relationship driven, and so I ended up starting my own company.
Nice. What year was that?
The end of 2014.
All right. So got out of the restaurant industry. So that was just after the crash and everything, and started on the sales side.
Yep. So I left the restaurant end of 2010 is when I left.
Okay. Yep.
And got on just doing sales, and as most people try to get into roofing, a lot of people are getting out in the fall. That's when I started. So,
okay.
So by
winter in Kansas City, might be a great time to sell roofs.
Yeah, it was for me because everybody else was home. Time off. Yeah, so I was laying down $100,000-$200,000 January, February, March. So I really got into the year doing well, and so done that for a few years, and and ended up starting my own company. And here I am now. So
yeah. What were some of those early lessons? You said, from being in the restaurant industry, serving hundreds of, lots of small ticket customers, having that customer service. What were some of those early lessons that you brought into, your roofing sales and then into your roofing business?
Well, so not I think the statistic is like 93% of mom and pop restaurants fail.
Mm,
And the reason why they fail is systems and processes. And how do you and when you get into a restaurant chain, everything's a process and how you do everything, it's gotta be done. You expect the same bite of a hamburger every single time you pull up. You want your drink made the same way or your ice cream made the same exact way every single time. And so there's a lot of teaching everybody to do the same thing over and over, wash, rinse,
mm,
repeat. And so that's what I, really brought over, especially as you're growing teams and doing that and you get lost sometimes when you're not using that stuff. You're just going and shooting from the hip and so you gotta everything's gotta have a SOP on it. There's gotta be a process. Sometimes you feel like, man, we're just selling roofs. We're trying to make this, brain surgery here. So you got to and that's my challenge to myself a lot of times is I gotta stand back like, wait a minute,
yeah,
we got too much in this. Let's step back. Let's just go sell a roof.
yeah. That's a that that consistency in customer experience is important. I think that it gets lost a lot in an industry like roofing because people don't use a roofing contractor for many, many years, right? Might only replace a roof or two in their whole life. So they're not as used to the experience. You're used to that same bite of a hamburger, right? You
Yep.
expect it. It's just you're used to it, from maybe if you go to a chain fine dining, I could go to a Ruth Chris here or Ruth Chris there, and I want that same bite of that steak. I'm expecting it a little bit more. What are some of those things? Like, how have you built that into your business? What are some of the, like, when you first operationally started Royal, you're like, I need to have a consistent process. What were some of the first consistencies that you built in?
So a lot of consistencies was just or is your internal operations from I actually had Brooke who still works for us. She challenged me one time. She goes, "Our service sucks," and like compared to whom? The rest of the
Mm,
industry? No, our service is pretty good. But she was right. Our service did suck. We got the timelines and all that. So the customer experience from the time I realized quickly that I can't take all the phone calls. I can't,
mm,
I help, but gotta get out of the way sometimes. And when you're trying to set appointments or the consistency at the very beginning is the most important because that is exactly the same. When you go and knock someone's door or you walk into a real estate agent or insurance agent, creating a relationship, that first impressions do mean a lot. And
mm.
so when you call a company and you want and most of the time I worked off of referrals. So it was just like how you and I connected. It wasn't
Yeah.
I just cold called roofer marketers one day because I just felt like you were the company to call. It was talking to bros and so the introduction is already there. It's up to Jim to mess it
That's
up.
right.
And
Yep.
so that's where those relationships so those people don't always have to talk to me. They can talk to someone in the office that that's gonna have that's somebody in the know. Somebody has to provide
Yeah.
experience. If you don't know what you're talking about or doing, we'll ruin that relationship.
Mm. That's interesting. Let's dig into that a little bit more because it is that first conversation, right? That the trust gets built or or you drop the ball because it's you either know it or you don't. Your team either knows it or they don't. There's um if if a customer calls your company, a homeowner calls your company and they're like, "Man, these people don't really know what they're talking about," or the person that I spoke with doesn't know what they're talking about. That that creates that not the best first impression, right? It does not add to the trust of your company in that scenario. How are you solving for that? How are you maintaining that consistency in having someone who's educated on roofing having that first impression and having those first conversations?
Well, and for us, you have to have it. There'll be somebody take a phone call 24 hours a day. So we have
Yeah,
after hours, we have, nights and weekends. And unfortunately, you're never going to be able to train those people,
true.
but it's more or less, hey, do you have emergency? Can someone call you? You need somebody to call you back immediately. And that's our answering service. You have to have that because if that way is consistency as you're trying to
Yep.
grow. And for me, I could take, I always took those phone calls and handled it. But
Yes.
also for your sales team, sometimes they need to be spend time with their families and all that stuff, and so their call overflow can go to the same spot, and so you have to have onboarding. Yeah, it don't just take you. If you call 10 companies right now, pick any city in the country, you call 10 roofing companies, how many are going to answer?
Maybe three.
Correct. And they're still going and you're going to at least get one answering machine.
Yes.
You will get an answering machine. You'll get some voicemails, personal
Yeah.
cell phone voicemails.
Yeah.
And how long does it take to call back? How long does it take if they ever call you back?
If they
And
ever.
yeah. And so I want an appointment set. So for Jim, if he calls our company, it's more about easing your mind that you have an appointment set. Because if you have a
Got
leak,
it.
I need somebody dispatched immediately. If I need my roof looked at, no hurry. I'm whether it's jumping on Google, I pulled up Abernathy Roofing. I called these guys. I got an appointment scheduled for Friday at 2 o'clock. Great.
Yeah.
They have our, we do onboarding. We know what we're looking at. We know all those things we care about the person calling in. And can we always do better? Absolutely. But we
Yeah.
record all the phone calls. We go through them. We, we, we try to improve on that weekly, but
Have you Have you developed like specific questions? Because when you're using those call answering services, there's a lot of inconsistency in that, right? And which there has to be. They're going to have employee turnover. There's going to be things like that, right? Have you developed any questions that you want answered, or are you just like, hey, make it the first priority is just make sure that the call is answered and that person is having a conversation. They don't have that person doesn't have to have all of the answers for that customer. They just need to say, hey, how to properly set expectations of an appointment, right? Or a home visit,
yep.
right? Like, so are there any questions that you're having them ask that help tee up your sales team or whoever's going
Yeah.
out? Before we carry on with the episode, let's give a shout out to one of our sponsors. Roofers, let's get real. You're great at building roofs, but are you great at building a steady stream of leads? That's where Job Nimbus Marketing comes in. They know the roofing industry inside and out, and they'll help you dominate Google, Facebook, reputation management, and everything in between. If you want more quality leads, more booked jobs, and more growth, visit the link in the description or the sponsors page on the Roofing Success Podcast website. Are there any questions that you're having them ask that help tee up your sales team or whoever's going
Yeah,
out? Or are you
we have a series of we call it a playbook of questions they
okay?
have to ask, and whether they have animals, whether hard to find on GPS sometimes. We try to confirm the house. Like, okay, Jim, you got the house.
Mm,
You have a white house. Things like that. So there's different things just to confirm that we got the right
yep.
address, all that. So there's a series. I mean, I guess I've never calculated the time, but you're usually most of the phone calls are 3 to 5 minutes long, which seems like, man, that's a
Okay,
long time to call. And well, yeah, that person's important to us.
that's
It's
right.
what would you rather have that or Okay, you said your name was Jim. Jim, let's get this homeowner. We're gonna call you in the next 2 hours because that's what you're trying to think on your feet. Like,
Yeah.
who do I give this lead to? There's nobody here to take this call. And that's what you get. Like, said, hey, Jim, we're going to get you scheduled. Is there a time on Friday? We have openings Thursday and Friday for one of our sales reps to come out. What do you have any preferred times? And then so that way
Yeah.
we schedule around your schedule instead of telling you when we're going to be there.
Yeah.
Or handing a sales rep your phone number to call, and it does not happen immediately. It can happen days later or not at all. And those leads are expensive.
They're
And
expensive.
so, that's why some you love or hate Angie's List, but I mean it works for some people, it don't work for others. But it's a speed to lead.
You know what the
And
most expensive lead is, Austin? The one you don't respond to.
correct. The ones that don't get it,
You know?
yeah. And they shouldn't get a call back. They should get answered, and
That's right.
because your time is valuable. If you call and you like the service that you got on the phone, talking to someone, you have an appointment set for tomorrow at 2 o'clock, you're probably not calling 3 other roofing companies to come out yet.
That's right.
You're going to allow us to come out. You're going to let us take a look. And then if you don't like what we have to say or don't like our price, then you may call for comparable.
Yeah.
But you're not going to. Most people don't have 3 roofing companies scheduled to come out.
No. No. So then you you made sure that that experience was in place, right? That was the first part of that customer service. You got to take care of people, right? I mean, if you're working in the restaurant and no one's there to seat people or no one's there to take an order, that's not going to go over well. And so,
Correct.
it's kind of the same thing here. Hey, someone has to be attentive to this potential customer, right? So, um, now you're attentive to them. Now, what was the next thing that, from a customer service standpoint, that you brought over from that restaurant experience that was like, hey, this is another thing that we implemented that came from there, but it works really well from a customer experience standpoint.
Well, so do you read the labels on different things, the Surgeon General's warning on cigarettes or any of that stuff that warns you this could be harmful if swallowed
Yeah.
and all that? There's a reason why those labels are on there, is because they got sued for that.
Yes.
And so it's like, hey, if you smoke these, this could cause cancer. So here, how many can I put in my mouth today? It doesn't stop anyone from smoking, but it stops lawsuits from happening. But for us, it's not about lawsuits. It's
Yeah.
about having communication. And so we had one that, several years ago, had one of the big $100 million companies come into Kansas City and community next to us, and knocked a lot of doors, sold a lot of jobs, and they got into where, part of Kansas City is the wood rock capital of the world, is they use that old masonite siding and lots of damaged siding. And so what happens is the siding's damaged when you tear the roof off, trying to replace that flashing. It's been, some of the asbestos siding. Well, what happens is it's always your fault.
Always.
Well, you guys damaged my siding. Well, these guys are going back to the roofing crews trying to charge a roofing crew back for damaging siding. It's not the roofing crew. It was a homeowner's problem to begin with. But you never had that conversation with the homeowner. You have to set expectations. The
Hmm.
customer experiences when you're in front of them. And that's where I love the idea that, like, the phone sales and all that, but when you're out there with someone, you're walking them through their property.
That's right.
They don't want to hear you talking bad about their house, or the ones that painted it last. Like, oh man, this is terrible paint job. No, here's what we have. Your garage doors are damaged. When's the last time you walked around your house and saw everything wrong with your house? So when we do an inspection, we're very thorough with our inspections. How many people get in attics? Every one of our sales guys has to get in the attic. That's part of part of making sure ventilation's proper, and so that's huge, giving them the process, because you get caught up in sign here, sign here. Well, 3 years later, you got problems because you never talked to them about it. And it could be 3 hours after the roof's on when they get home, and they're calling you because they're upset because their siding's damaged, or this was wrong, or that's wrong. You go from a open valley to a closed valley, or vice versa. If you just automatically do stuff, you go from a 3-tab to architectural shingle, or you go from shingles to metal, and there's, everything, a new roof, everybody shows up looking at their house. So they see all these problems that they think are there. And if it may not be your fault, but it's your
Mm-hmm.
problem. And so if you address it up front and walk people through it, here's the expectations. Crew shows up at 6:30 in the morning, why the hell is these guys showing up at 6:30 in the morning? You didn't know you had to move your cars out of the driveway? Come on, duh, we're doing your roof. People don't know.
They don't
People
know.
don't know. They've never been through it. You do it every day.
Yeah.
And so, I
I
mean,
love that.
we have to educate people and have set those expectations. And what I talked to you about today, Jim, I'm signing a contract with you. You're not going to remember everything either. So we have our production team actually call and remind you, hey, make sure the driveway's cleared out. We're going to delivery of shingles comes from a different time from the install. So we're going to be there Thursday afternoon to deliver shingles. Does not mean that we're installing your roof. So you just have to walk people through that, because they don't know what they don't know.
I love that. It put your Surgeon General's warnings on everything, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and that's what it is. It's
yeah.
and it's not to keep from getting sued. It's to protect relationships and
Yes.
provide better customer experience. But I
Yeah.
use that as examples because I'm warning you right
I
now.
love
This
it.
is what's going to happen.
The thing the way that I always frame that is, if your customers are wondering, you're losing,
Correct. Absolutely.
right?
I like that.
So if they're wondering when or why or how, right? Like, I wonder how they're going to do this. That you're losing right there.
Yeah.
I wonder when materials are going to be delivered. I wonder when the crew's going to start. I wonder when the job's going to start. I wonder when my salesperson's going to be here. I wonder what is going to happen when you said you guys do a really thorough inspection. Like, how do you framing that up front, that this is the expectation? Hey, when our sales rep or when our project manager, whatever you call when they get there, this is what to expect, right? Like, this is what we're going to do. These are all the things we're going to do. We're going to look at all these different things. We're going to show you these things. We're going to walk you around your house. When our estimator, when our salesperson walks you around your house, guess what you're going to find? Things that you've never even seen before, right? If you set that expectation, and then they're walking around the house and you're like, hey, yeah, see that up there? And they're like, I've never seen that. The person on the phone who set the appointment told me I'd see things that I had never seen before. Right. If you could carry that conversation throughout, the power in something like that, not that you're going to get it perfect every time, but to continuously try to have that intention. What are some of the things that you have found over the years, some of the biggest gaps in expectations from a homeowner with the roofing company?
I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors. I talk to contractors every day that feel stuck. Not because they're not working hard, but because they're missing the structure to growth without chaos. Or their culture's falling apart because their team's unclear, unaligned, or just burned out. And when change hits, they're reacting instead of leading because time and priorities aren't under their control. Day 41 Thrive helps to fix that with proven strategies for growth, culture, and leadership that actually work. Ready to thrive beyond the storm? visit the link in the description or visit the Roofing Success Podcast website on the sponsors page to start your journey today.
What are some of the things that you have found over the years, some of the biggest gaps in expectations from a homeowner with the roofing company?
Messes, cleanup, they don't realize it's going to be as cumbersome as it is. Uh, the timeline on whether it's dealing with insurance, getting back from mortgage, and supplements a huge thing, especially nowadays, is it can take 30, 60, 90 days trying to get supplements approved. So keeping them in the loop and like, well, I thought this would get done a lot quicker. I mean, you just told me, well, it's not. I used to just get on the phone, shoot one email or text message and was taken care of. Not anymore.
Yeah.
Because they've tied the hands on a lot of adjusters and they've handcuffed them to what they can and can't approve anymore.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of red
those are
tape
some big
with
ones.
insurance. Good, bad, otherwise it is what it is, and we have to adapt.
Yeah. And
But
we're always adapting, right? But like, so how do you continue to get that message? I don't know how many salespeople you have now, but you've had some big teams over the years, and between all of the companies now in the portfolio, you guys probably have a pretty big team. How do you keep that messaging? How do you keep your sales reps now setting those same expectations, setting the expectations properly?
continued training, daily trainings, daily accountability meetings with your team. We're extremely guilty of, and I say we, it's myself, a lot of roofing companies. Oh, we have sales meeting once a week. Well, we cancel them every once in a while because we're too busy. So now we meet once a week if we do, and then we talk about a few things over a phone call or in person for the next 7 days, and then we have a meeting again. It has to be daily. It has to be daily focus, and that's where you have to have things automated. As much as we hate processes and sales guys want to just go sell, and you got to have some automations and some accountability with them, because and at the same time, your best sales guys, they need assistance. And so you have an operations team. Our sales guys, they don't do a single work order. One, they put their stuff together and somebody else builds their work order. They just have to make sure they translate the playbook properly and do a good handoff.
Yeah.
And don't ask sales guys to be construction guys, but teach them construction to understand it, to talk about it, but they don't have to be a construction expert. Go stay focused on sales.
Yeah. What were some of the lessons over the years that have gotten you to this point? Like, did you ever try to make them like construction experts, or did you ever or were you always around this mindset? Like, let's just build a sales team and hit and go hit the ground and sell.
So one of the biggest problems is that most companies don't know they get started, especially when you're big sales driven. Just because that guy tells you he can put a roof on does not mean he can put a roof on properly.
Yeah.
And so then you get a sales guy that now you're going to be a project manager and go out and run your own job. And well, I don't get paid to oversee the crew roofing. I get paid by selling jobs. So I'm not even overseeing this. Well, that lifespan of a sales rep at a company doesn't last more than 2 or 3 years a lot of times. So, and a lot of these companies don't last 3 years. Well, those warranties, I see a company right now that's been in business for less than 2 years. They're advertising 10-year workmanship warranties, 15-year workmanship warranties. How? Because they can't. They can, but the warranty stuff happens. All companies have warranties, but a lot of guys avoid taking care of warranties. And so you have to have people in charge of your warranties, and those are more important than anything else. If somebody calls you 3 years later, 5 years later, you better get out there and take care of it.
Yeah. That's the and those are opportunity calls.
Correct.
Like, to me, those are like, that's an opportunity to shine, right? Like, that's an opportunity to make a raving fan. That's an opportunity to get referrals. That's an opportunity. Uh, there's a lot of opportunity there. What's the how do you guys how, like, are you constantly recruiting sales reps? Do you have what you've done a lot of cool stuff, and this is one of the things that I wanted to talk about with you. Maybe we'll just shift gears there now. But over the years, you know you see all the industry compensation models, and you've really kind of tried to change the way you thought about that. I think you've been very unique in the way that you're thinking about your compensation for sales reps. Um, let's talk about traditional, like what you saw when you entered the industry, and what you paid over the years, and then the change that you made, and we'll get into some of the whys and how that's working. So let's start off with, when you got in the industry, how were you getting paid when you were a sales rep?
When I was a sales rep, I came in like, "Hey, we're gonna get you set up on 1099 and fill out all these forms, sign this contract." You just like, "Okay, sign it, move on."
Yeah.
And, as a business owner with a partner in the restaurant business, I was used to taking care of my own taxes and doing all that, which I also got myself in trouble a couple years too when I'm 19, 20 years old. And
Uh-huh.
so when the state send you letters telling you that
Yeah.
penalties and all this just surpassed $4,000 or $5,000 just on penalties and interest, and like,
Yeah.
oh man, what? No way. Hey, there's no negotiating that. You're paying that crap.
That's
So
right.
that's what but that's the same thing for all guys. Guys
Yeah.
or girls, when they come into a company, you're supposed to wear your badge, supposed to show up to these meetings, supposed to do all that, but you're paying me as a 1099 to avoid paying workers' comp insurance, to avoid paying payroll taxes. And I know a lot of people do it, but who's responsible if you fall off that roof? We are. The homeowner
Mhm.
is. And so we've had, subcontractors that actually, I had it happen a couple years ago, that they had fraudulent insurance.
Mm.
The insurance agent, there's a bunch of fraud with insurance agents. Had one of my subcontractors, been insured for years. He switched over to a different guy because he's gonna save him a bunch of money. Guy he met, and that guy was deducting money out of his account every month for his agency,
Oh.
not for the insurance company. But it's giving out certificates. So we messed up there, but they end up costing 100 and some odd $1,000, but we have workers' comp
Yeah.
coverage. And so we carry workers' comp on every one of our employees, and that's gonna flow uphill. So if I don't have workers' comp and that guy got hurt through my subcontractor, guess who's paying for it out of pocket? We
Mhm.
are. I just saw a prominent company yet 2 days ago. Over the weekend, the sales rep was driving drunk, got
Ooh.
T-boned. Yes, turned around on the highway, done a U-turn in the middle of the highway, and got in a wreck with a semi. And this is heartbreaking to see that happen to
Mm.
anyone. And another company, we've had that happen too, that's why we have GPS and cameras in all of our vehicles, to protect us. We have to protect the brand.
Yeah. So so you went from, did you start off at a W-2 model with Royal
I
when you first started, or
Yes,
was that
we've
something that
always
you
yeah,
transitioned to?
yeah, so all of our sales team's always been W-2. I tried to
So you
experiment
were
with the
real early
1099,
on
but
that.
I realized
Yeah.
quickly, like, that's not a good model. Uh, but the 10-50-50, I paid off don't matter if you pay 10-50-50 or or part of the contract amount, when you have, whether they're new sales guys that don't know what they're selling, or you have experienced sales guys that, hey, $300 is better than nothing. I want to sign this contract and get through the
Uh-huh.
$400 and move on. And so when you do a 10-50-50, 50% of nothing's still nothing. And
Yeah.
a 50-50 split when there's $1,000 left over, $500, you just bought yourself a headache.
Yeah.
And so now magnitude that at, you know, $18-20 million, got all these sales guys building their own jobs. They're all getting, oh, well, I won't collect on that one. I'll just move on. I won't
Yeah.
collect on that one because we didn't give them the Surgeon General's warning on what's going on. So that customer's mad. We're just going to take $1,500 off and collect the money and go on. I just won't get paid. That's how a lot of sales guys think.
Mm.
And I'll make it up in the next one. I didn't get paid on this one. I'll go. So you leave hundreds of thousands of dollars in collections out there. And we have we've had a little bit over the years, but not like a lot of people have. And you hate to see that for anyone. And so when you do a 50-50 model, we don't need practice. We have,
Yes.
so like on the construction side, I mean, we want to make sure our jobs are built properly. We have really good crews. We spend time working with them as well. We don't just bring in any crew that says they can. I mean, our main crew in Kansas City, he's been roofing for me since 2011. So he's been on my job. So that's relationships. And now one of the guys on that crew, his son is doing roofs for us now. So his son was 9 years old at the time, so that's good that we're able to continue quality of work. And mistakes happen. I mean, weather happens, and you're always going to have some type of warranty calls, but so the 10-50-50 split, how are we protecting ourselves? Who's approving that job? A sales manager that's trying to get job. He's busy trying to get guys. He's got 5 jobs. No, I have one person that approves every single job in our company. And they get red light, yellow light, green lighted. And I get a copy every time it goes. If it's not green light, I actually get a copy. I have other people handle it, but we get maybe 1 yellow light a week. And margins aren't quite where they need to be. And usually it's because we get 1 red light every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And so that's a training. It's either one that should have been in supplementing, or the yellow lights are usually it's something that guys miss a couple things on, ice and water shield, something like that. They can miss on the scope. So we have people that go through every scope that go through, help all the sales guys. So let them go sell. But we're very big on believing the company, to protect the brand, the company has to be paid first on every job.
This is where I want to go. How are you structuring it? Because the 10-50-50, like you said, there's 50% of nothing is nothing, right? A percentage of the job doesn't work out a lot of time. Like, so how are you structuring that in a way that and then let's get into like your red, yellow, green, like what constitutes red and yellow, right?
Yeah. So what is our profit percentages we need on those to?
Got it.
So if it's a red light, it's below our bottom profit percentage.
Got it.
So, and then your medium, which your yellow light, you'll sell those jobs all the day long, but you also see if management approved a job that, hey, go ahead and get this one sold. I'll let you sell at that price.
So they have to get approval on a yellow light. They can't sell a red light. Is that how you're working it? Yep.
Yep.
And we're not saying, this is what I want people to understand. When it hits red light, it's not, this isn't, this job went negative. We're based on the scope. We're not at the profit percentage that we need to achieve to be a healthy company, right? Like that's what you're basing that on, right? Like we're not saying, oh no, red light is, we're losing money on this job. Oh no, we're losing money. No. We're not even getting there. We're not getting to the losing money. And not that, you might have some surprises down the road or something that happens on that job but this is sales rep turns in the job. That scope gets ran through by that individual and they red, yellow, and green. Am I getting it right?
I know you're enjoying the episode, but let's give a shout out to another one of our sponsors. If you and your team aren't trained on AI yet, you're already falling behind. Competitors using AI are generating more leads, closing jobs faster, and running leaner. The AI roofing revolution gives your team the training to implement AI so you stay ahead, not scramble to catch up. Don't wait until you're losing. Get trained now at the link in the description or the sponsors page of the Roofing Success Podcast website.
Sales rep turns in the job. That scope gets ran through by that individual, and they red, yellow, and green it. Am I getting it right?
Yep, I have a guy in Bolivia that
Okay.
does all that for us. So
Yep. Perfect.
builds every order. And
Yep.
no, you're exactly right. It's red lighted because it hits a profit percentage that is not acceptable.
Mm-hmm.
But also it may hit a profit percentage. It's not acceptable for us, but I don't want a sales guy not to make money either. They're out there busting their butt.
Yes.
So you take a new guy that, well, I didn't know. I thought I could do this. No, wait a minute. You got to charge them for additional layers. You have to charge for
Mm-hmm.
a redeck. You can't give away you can't give this stuff away.
Yeah.
And so it's like, man, it was my first, and then you talk to manager, man, it was his first sale. I was there. I helped him close it and I let it go. But we don't just to get a win it's not always a win. And on that so that red light for us is that 10-50-50 split when it goes out, when you collect and try doing P&L and realize like, wait a minute, there's only $800 here to split. We don't want that job.
Yes.
If there's 800 here to split, we're taking the 800, you get zero.
Yeah.
And so you have to, if you want to be if you have to give jobs away, you're not a good salesman.
Yes.
And so do we make concessions at times? Absolutely. Whether it's multifamily, whatever it is to help somebody, a elderly person, low income, things like that. We do that all the time. Yep. But you cannot just walk out and give everybody a huge discount and think you got to win just because you signed something. So that
just because you got a signed contract. No. Yeah.
Yeah. So it gives us it's a learning opportunity for a sales guy to go back and like, oh, wait a minute, I didn't see this in the insurance scope. Like we had one the other day is like, you're off 4 square with waste and insurance law. Why didn't you catch this? Oh man, I just completely overlooked it. Well, you got in a hurry trying to sign a deal, which I get it. I understand, but I don't want you. Hey, we can supplement this. This isn't a big deal, but it is a big deal because if we just run it through as is and it doesn't get invoiced out the back end or a supplement to insurance, that stuff, you're gonna make about $200 on that job. You work too hard to get $200. I don't want my guys working for free. Right. They work too hard.
And I love that it creates their metrics that create feedback opportunities for training, right?
Correct. Yeah.
It's also to me let me think. It also can create feedback on, from a larger perspective, is this person the right person for the job, right? Because if somebody keeps turning in jobs that are yellow and red, and they're all yellow and red, to your point, they're either missing stuff or they're underselling. They're not, so if they're not, I love metrics that lead to better outcomes, right? So now it's like, okay, now we could train this person up. We train them up. Oh, they're not getting it. Oh, they're still not getting it. They're still not getting it. Okay, now we know they might not be the right person. You know what I mean? But you're giving them real opportunity in that training process to get, oh no, this is what it is. This is why you missed it. We'll supplement for that, or next time make sure you catch that. And so I love that it's giving you a good feedback loop also on your team members.
Yep. So what we've done is converted, we call a red line model. This is one thing you took from the solar industry. We took from them and said, this works great in solar because all these, the EPCs is the install companies. You usually sign their contracts. So you had the sales organizations that went out and just sold. They could sell it $6 a watt, $4 a watt, $3 a watt, they knew, but their red line was
Yep.
$2.50 a watt, $2 a watt.
Got it.
Some got down to $1.50, and that's when you knew you were going to get a really crappy install. So there was a lot, and that's why we started installing our own solar, and we figured all that out through there. But you got to know your numbers,
Yeah.
and so I asked a guy the other day, and he's like, I go, how do you do your bids? He goes, ourselves. I go, do you do bid? Well, we're mainly insurance. We work off the insurance scope. I go, what about somebody asks for a bid? Well, they got to come back here, and then we'll pull an Eagle View, and then when I get time, I'll write the bid for them. And I'm just like, holy smokes, get out of the way. Get out of the way. And this is
Yeah.
me talking to my younger self, get out of the way, Austin. And so we have a per square price that they have to, is their red line.
Got it.
So whatever and it's a lot like insurance scope. You have adders for steep charges, 2-story charges, decking, but here's your basic 1-story, 512 roof. I don't care if there's 17 sticks of drip edge or 27 sticks of drip edge or 6 turtle vents or 10 turtle vents. It's a law of averages.
Yep.
The law of averages. If you cannot give somebody a price on site, when we pull measurements up for every single home we go to. I pay somebody full time to pull measurements. So I don't have to use Eagle View. I don't have to use Hover. I don't have to use all that stuff because that does get expensive. We have somebody full time that pulls a measurement. It's worth the money. Go get the measurement, have it ready. When our sales guy shows up, they can put a price together. They have the power. They know what their commissions are when they're presenting the job. Long as you train them right to do it, we call it quick bid. And so you have to know how to do a quick bid. You got to be able to calculate how many squares there. You got to know how much waste, hip bridge starter. You got steep charges. You have chimney flashing. It's a lot similar like insurance scope, but everything's a charge. And if you want to give that job away, that's on you. You're paying for it,
Yes.
not us. And so we have it set up. It's a 60-40 split. You get 60 if you generate the lead. If we hand you the lead, you get 40. So go out and knock more doors. Go generate. How much other you make the money than paying it to Google or Facebook?
That's right.
And it's a higher quality lead. So go get in front of that person, and you're going to make an extra, $600 to $1,000 a job typically, or sometimes more than that. Some of these jobs are $3,000 or $4,000 difference. So go, and the way if you sell properly, if you want to take a percentage of the contract, just to kind of reverse it to understand is you're between 12 and 18% of the contract a lot of times, right in there. So if you self-gen, you're pushing, 15 to 18%. If you take the lead from the company, you're looking at, 10 to 14. So, and I've had some that come in 4 and 5%. But guess what? We didn't know. You did. You chose to sell that cheap. That's cool that you got the job, but we have to maintain the warranty. We still have overhead. We still have a business to run. So if we don't do it that way and trying to scale, there's a lot of, and I know you and I shared privately what our commissions or what our profit margins are, but I include our commissions go above the line with labor and materials. And our gross profit, materials, labor, and commissions are higher than most companies that just after material labor.
That's right. And I think that's a great testament to the way that you've structured this. And that's why I wanted to get into it. Like, I think, first of all, I think a lot of contractors, and you could tell me if you think this too, they don't even know their numbers from a job costing perspective. Like, they really don't know. And then a lot of times, especially if you're newer or need the work, you undervalue. I'm gonna say you undervalue yourself, right? Like,
Correct.
and so, or if you go into a market and you're like, well, everyone's selling at this per square, I have to sell at this per square. But that's not the truth, right? Like, the truth is you have to sell at what you need to be at, not what someone down the road needs to be at. So,
We have to give those guys the tools, and that's what our sales
yeah.
leadership. We have some
Hmm.
really good salespeople that are really good at what they do. They work with homeowners. They're, a lot more consultative sales, but you can't be super pushy or anything like that. But we're there to sell. I mean, you're there
Yes.
to. I mean, you're getting a new roof. We're not selling somebody a roof that don't need one.
Yeah.
And and that was the deal with solar. So many people were sold solar
Mm.
that shouldn't have bought it.
Mm.
And so there's different. Yeah, you can be sold a roof and don't need one, but we got a 5-star review yesterday because the guy thought he needed a new roof when it actually wasn't a roof issue, it was a gutter issue.
Mm.
And so we went out there, addressed it for him, and didn't charge him anything. Gave us a 5-star review because he was prepared to write a check to put a new roof on his house.
Yeah, that was a good day for him.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. I guarantee you, he had heartburn all day on that deal. But
That's
we were
right.
able to solve his problem and that's good. It's a win if you can do
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, definitely. I also like the fact, when did you always do the self-gen versus company gen splits differently, or was that something that changed over the years?
Yeah, because I've tried it a couple different ways of like, percentage, like, okay, get 2 more percent for self-gen. We're paying 8%, 10%. And, if it's a company lead, I know some companies pay 4% for a company lead and 7% for a
Mhm.
self-gen. And you're like, "Man, I can't, man, that's a lot." Go make your money. Go make
Yeah,
your money. But we're still getting our money. So we have that red line. I mean, we're making our margins that we need to make to keep a business running.
that's right.
And
That's right.
so, man, you guys, that seems, no, it's because if you do a 10-50-50 split, I know one company out there right now that gets 18, between 12 and 18% rebates from the supplier and manufacturer. Well, guess
Mhm.
what? They're putting that on you're paying that for shingles.
Yeah.
Let's not get into what are we paying for shingles, what are we paying for drip edge, and even back on the bidding side is if you got to calculate every single piece of drip edge, every piece or every foot of starter, every turtle vent. If you're trying to get that precise, you're going, it's a law of averages, speed to
Yeah.
lead, empower your guys because it's going to wash out really quickly if you have a process of what they're selling for. But yeah, if you're
Yeah.
trying to do a 10-50-50 split and letting them sell, they're trying to calculate, you're leaving too many margins, too much margin of error there.
Margin of error.
Yep.
Yeah.
So don't matter if there's 6 turtle vents or there's 16.
Another thing I wanted to talk to you about was mergers and acquisitions, right? Royal and Abernathy merged together. How did that come about?
Yeah, so yeah, we built our companies on relationships. And
Hmm.
we have a storm and I'd have, whether insurance agents, I mean, I'd get 30 leads an hour some days. I mean, that's where, I mean, we look up 2 days later and be 400 or 500 leads deep.
Yeah.
And so, and I say a couple of days, that usually, within 4 or 5 days, we'd have that many leads a lot of those times. And now those homeowners are not calling their insurance agent. They're getting door knocked
Mm.
before that even happens, or they're just getting on social media and getting a referral to a roofer. They're not going to their insurance agent. The insurance agent
Hmm.
is kind of gets left alone now. A lot of people don't rely on their insurance agents like they used to. But insurance relationships are still important, those insurance
Oh,
agents.
yeah.
So John and I, okay, how do we get a storm in Kansas City? Well, I can send my team up there. I can send my team to Southern Missouri and help you out. But how does that work? How would that look? What would that look like? that's a lot of chaos. Trying to help each other and like this or that is going to be very confusing.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, John, why don't we, I mean, I know this is kind of from left field here, but why don't we just merge and create one company? Now let's look at the bigger picture of look at what our value is, because we're merging, we're not hurting the value of either company. We're going to increase the value of the company.
Yep.
So we're actually helping each other, and we're going to cut our costs down, our operating costs. We're going to be able to share some of the expenses and do all that. So we really sit down, spend a weekend going through it, because it was just kind of a left field. Why don't we merge? Like, because John and I are both really good at coming up with bad ideas out loud. So it's one of the ones like, hey, wait a minute, that may be a decent idea. Let's talk about it. So we spent a weekend really going through it, got our wives involved, and they're like, where the hell did this come from? Another one of you guys' crazy ideas. And that's what they both kind of looked at first. Like, well, let's meet. So we actually spent a weekend together and really hashed things out and talked about things, and like, wait a minute, this actually makes sense.
Mm.
And so that's when we started the process of putting a merger together.
What were so let's just talk about the lessons of merging, right? Like what are some of the things that came together well? What were some of the challenges that you guys have faced in that? What advice would you give to someone else?
You know what? The biggest thing is alignment from leadership. You have to
Mm.
be aligned. You have to have the same values, and it won't work.
Yeah.
And it's like a marriage too. You got to humble yourself at times, and respect others' opinions and input. And when you're running a $3-4 million company by yourself, or running a $10 million company by yourself, you're never running it by yourself. You have other people, but you are your hand for the first $5 million. Your hands in every piece of it. You're making all the decisions, and you get used to making all the decisions. You're like, oh, wait a minute. I have partners. I have to respect them, and you have to do what's best for the company. There's things that marketing things or different things you've sponsored or done over the years that it may not make sense anymore. Like, it never really made financial sense to do that, but we've always done it. And so you have to humble yourself, I guess, is, business wise, and make sure you're still getting others' opinions and input,
Yeah.
and talk about it as a team. Is like, okay, I have real, and I've always been good about, within the royal leadership, to give them input and be a part of the decision making. Because I tell them not making a decision at all is worse than
Yeah.
making it the wrong decision. And so that's what you got to empower your people there. But for us, it was never a challenge. I could definitely, because the attorneys make a lot of money on a merger, but they're there to protect us, because
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, guys, it's just some damn paperwork. John and I are good friends. Sarah and Buffy are great friends. Let's just get the paperwork and let's get it done. And they're laughing at me. I'm like, it's not hard. Why are we going
Yeah.
through this? Like, be prepared to spend a lot of money. That's so if you're not prepared to spend, but I can only imagine if a merger would not work. It's just like a marriage isn't going to work if you don't have mutual values and mutual ideas and mutual
Yeah.
goals.
Yeah.
And so the attorneys, yes, they made great money, but they protected us. They protected both parties. And, and actually our two attorneys, the attorney I used, I've always used, the attorney John's always used, they actually had already done several business dealings together. So it wasn't, they'd already, they were already friends. So I couldn't imagine people that didn't know each other trying to make something happen. But alignment is the key, having good business alignment.
Yeah. Where do you see the future of roofing going, and where do you see the future of Royal and Abernathy in that?
You know, you see the guys that are PE, you're gonna drown out. You're gonna get drowned out if you don't join PE. But what other companies that's out there that's owned by PE that's not roofing in any market in the home services category that there's still not other local companies. Plumbing, there's plenty of local plumbing companies. There's plenty of local HVAC companies. Now you want to get in dental. PE's big in dental and veterinaries. There's plenty of veterinarians out there still
Yep.
that do make a great money that didn't sell to private equity. Same as there's a lot of PE dental companies out there that bought up a lot of dentists, but there's still plenty of local dentists out there. So, I mean, it's whether it's a home service or any type of, you're still doing everybody needs a dentist, everybody needs a doctor, but it's not all PE. So do they push everyone to get better. If you don't get better, I mean, yes, there's no more Ben Franklin stores, Walmart, so we can use Walmart. Walmart done that. There's a reason why there's a dollar store on every corner now. It's called Amazon. Amazon's push dollar stores become more convenient because the dollar store, people aren't driving 3 miles through town to go to a dollar store. If it's not convenient, they're ordering on Amazon. So Amazon's made us lazy as a consumer. Instacart, Uber Eats, it's convenience. So when you talk roofing, what's the old meme that says cheap, fast, good.
Yeah.
Pick 2 of 3. How long has that meme been around?
A long time.
Well, it's got to evolve too? I want cheap, fast, and good. Why can't I get it? Because I get it with Amazon.
Can't I? Yep.
I want it now. Well, outside of Yeti coolers and, different things, you want stuff now. You want to be rewarded now. You want it at a fair price and you expect good quality. So you're telling me if I get it right now for a fair price, you're going to put a crappy roof on my house? No, you're going to get the same roof.
Yeah.
So that's cheap, fast, good. They want to give me all the above.
What advice would you have for somebody or the advice you would give yourself when you started, if from where you are now?
Probably if I was to start all over again at 0, don't do it by yourself. Find alignment. And when you're in your 20s and 30s, it's harder because you're more aggressive. A lot of times you're a little bit hardcore. It's harder. It's just like back on marriages. A lot of marriages don't last in their people get married at a young age. It's same as a business relationship. It don't always last, and that's not good. You hate to burn bridges. You hate to burn relationships. Those relationships matter. But if I wouldn't want to go start a roofing company from ground zero again. I want a team. I've always wanted a team, and that's where I can probably go make more money going out and doing sales and having 3 office people and 2 project managers running jobs. I can probably go make, but I don't want to do that. And so, to the younger me would be, don't do it by yourself. It's 10 years ago, I think it's different for a lot of people, but this day and age with PE, there's too many uphill challenges. I mean, marketing was easier 10 years ago. And now you got 14 marketing companies. You got everybody hitting you up. You got to run a business.
Yeah.
And if you are trying to worry about that roof going on the house today too, because it's hard to scale. And some people just want to go and sell 2 roofs, 3 roofs a month and they're happy. And there's nothing wrong with that at all. I'm friends with those guys and I support them and I take their phone calls and help them any way I can. And so I'm not anti anyone and I'm not anti private equity. I get the business model, but I don't think if you don't evolve in business in general, you're going to be gone. If you don't have systems and processes, you're going to be gone. And just like keeping bad sales guys around or bad roofing crews, you have to get better every day.
Awesome, man. Get better every day. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thank you for tuning into the Roofing Success Podcast. For more valuable content, visit roofingsuccesspodcast.com. While there, check out our sponsors for exclusive offers, shop for merchandise, and sign up for our newsletter for industry updates and tips. Also, join the Roofing Success Facebook group to connect with other professionals and stay updated on the latest trends. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like, share, and leave a comment. Your support helps us continue to bring you top industry insights. The website link is in the description. Thanks for listening.